Hey guys, it's Deephead Danny, and it's Halloween time again. There's tons of spooky games that are great to play around the holidays. Castlevania, Ghouls and Ghosts, Splatterhouse, Resident Evil. There's definitely no shortage of options. But today I wanted to talk about some games that aren't necessarily trying to be scary, but have a little bit of a Halloween flavor to them. So let's get to it. It should come as no surprise to anyone that's been around my channel for a while that Earthbound is my favorite game of all time. You and 3 friends traverse the world to far-reach destinations to stop the evil universal destroyer Gygus from rising to power in the future. Despite this game's cutesy and whimsical exterior, it's not without its creepy moments. Take Threed, the third main town you travel to. This is the Super Famicom version you're seeing. I didn't have a save file near this part of the game on my US copy, but luckily didn't have to go too far on my copy of Mother 2 to reach it. This town has been overrun by zombies and other spooks. There's garbage ghosts, trick-or-treat kids that wear jack-o'-lantern heads, and possessed marionettes. The townspeople don't know what to do, some of them abandoning their houses in lieu of safety in numbers. Some have barricaded themselves inside their houses and refuse to leave. Most of the people seem to have congregated in the middle of the town at an abandoned circus tent, further adding to the spook factor. The atmosphere is dark and brooding, and the music fits the eerie theme really well. After exploring the town a little while, you find there's an entrance to the next area past the cemetery, but it's blocked by zombies who stare into your soul. You'll need to have your inventor buddy Applekid send you his newly created zombie paper, which is like flypaper but for zombies. Lay it down in a big area like the circus tent, and overnight they're all drawn to it, meeting their sticky fate. Mega Man 7 is probably one of my least favorite Mega Man games. I love 1 through 6 on the NES, but this one just doesn't feel right to me. The formula is pretty much like the other Mega Man games. There's 8 Robot Masters, and you destroy them and get their special power, which in turn is the weakness for another Robot Master. Rinse and repeat until you've destroyed them all and take on the diabolical Dr. Wily. One of the Robot Masters included in Mega Man 7 is Shade Man, who resembles a vampire. He'll shoot sonic waves at you and swoop down to suck your robot blood, I guess. His stage is pretty neat, with cool effects that really speak to the spooky theme. I mean, look at this creepy backdrop you're presented with at the start of the level. The backgrounds include gothic stained glass windows, dungeon cells with chains, and creepy eyes staring at you. The mini-boss is this crazy jack-o'-lantern robot, but there's also robotic crows and zombies too. There's even these sections that get really dark and require you to light candles to see your way through. Everything is well designed and feels good, from the settings, the enemies, and the music. Speaking of the music, like I said, it's pretty good on its own, but this stage includes a fantastic Easter egg. Look at those zombie robots. Isn't the way they spawn kind of familiar? Like maybe something you've seen in another Capcom game? Press and hold the B button on the robot select screen before you enter Shade Man's level, and that's right, a special remix of that classic Ghouls and Ghosts theme we all love. When I was made aware of this, I about jumped out of my chair like a little kid. I was so excited. Snowboard Kids is a great little kart racer style snowboard game for the Nintendo 64 by Atlas. Similar to games like Mario Kart, you race your friends to the end of the course, avoiding obstacles. You can pick up offensive and defensive items to avoid the other racers' attacks or dish out some of your own. I've always had a lot of fun with this one. Apparently other people did as well, because eventually they made a sequel, Snowboard Kids 2, also on the Nintendo 64. There's standard stages like your basic bunny slopes and a frozen town type area, but then there's some that are a bit more kooky. You have a jungle, a space station, and one course takes the place of one of the kids' houses as you got shrunken down to size. But this is a Halloween themed video, so there's gotta be one of those here, right? Well, as luck would have it, there is! It's Halloween night and the kids are out trick-or-treating. Look at their cute costumes. They come across a spooky haunted house and decide to check it out, much to some of the kids' dismay. This is a fun little track with all the classic Halloween tropes. Spooky faces and pumpkins, ghosts, haunted furniture, the moon. For a single track, it's pretty varied though. You go from the house to like a dungeon area, to the graveyard outside. I really like these spooky trees. And eventually you find yourself in a lava-scattered catacomb underneath the house before you drop into an illusionary floor that leads you to the end of the stage. There's multiple paths, and to be honest, this track is pretty tough. In fact, the game is pretty tough in general. When you get behind, you tend to stay behind. And isn't the thought of losing a video game to your friends really the scariest thing of all? Super Mario Land 2 6 Golden Coins is the fantastic follow-up to Super Mario Land on the Game Boy. This time around, Wario makes his very first appearance as the antagonist that has taken over Mario's castle and locked the door. Mario needs to find 6 golden coins to open the door and gain access back to his pad. Each coin is safeguarded in a themed area. These areas include a toy stage, a tree stage, even a stage where you're shrunken down in a house. Seems kind of familiar. This is Pumpkin Zone, the resident spooky area of the game, and why it's being included here. Just from the zone map alone, you can see this area is oozing with Halloween flair. The whole thing is a pumpkin, there's a witch flying around, there's a little grave area, some coffins, and a skull. These stages have some enemies that aren't in any other Mario game as far as I know, like these umbrella guys and these hockey mask guys that were clearly inspired by either Friday the 13th or Splatterhouse. Some boos here and there add a sense of familiarity to the player. There's also this one random goofy vampire. The stages themselves all seem to take place around scary houses, both inside and outside. You can tell the developers did their best to make this area as creepy as they could, well, as much as you can get in a Mario game. And though limited by the system's lack of colors and such, everything feels really good here. The boss of this area is that witch you saw floating around outside. Disney's Adventures in the Magic Kingdom for the NES by Capcom. There's a big parade about to start in the Magic Kingdom, but to open the gate, Mickey needs the golden key, which is in the castle, which is also locked, and you need 6 silver keys to unlock it. As inconvenient as it may be, Goofy misplaced all 6 keys throughout the park. As Mickey's friend, you need to go around getting the keys from a variety of stages, all based on Disney Parks attractions. There's a Space Mountain themed stage that requires you to push directional buttons to navigate your ship through space. This level is boring and easily the worst stage in the game. There's also a stage based on the Pirates of the Caribbean attraction where you need to rescue some townsfolk. What homage to the Magic Kingdom would be complete, however, without a Haunted Mansion stage? You must retrieve the key from the Haunted Mansion, but it won't be easy. All manner of spooks stand in your way. There's zombies, dancing ghosts, specters, hands reaching out of coffins, and possessed books. For a pretty short stage, the visuals they present here are great, and they do a good job projecting the creepy vibe. This is the only stage in the game that includes a boss, as you'll need to take this guy out with your candle projectiles you find throughout the mansion. He shows up at the beginning of the stage, but touching him there will take a life, automatically making you restart the level. I like the backdrops of the graveyard as you approach the mansion, as well as the library, complete with crooked pictures and even a grandfather clock. The music is pretty good here too. I have a hard time choosing whether I like this stage or the Pirates of the Caribbean stage better, but it's hard to choose as they're the only 2 platforming stages in the game. Well, there's some non-spooky games that have Halloween flavor. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I know I enjoyed making it for you. I hope each and every one of you has a safe and happy Halloween. I'm D-Pad Danny. I'll see you next time.